Okay, and Minnie was kind enough to run down to the 7-Eleven and grab some Copico Black. You could probably hear the kettle going in the background. We'll be with you shortly. I'm going to wait a couple of minutes for the notifications to go out. I hope I don't blow anybody's eardrums out by playing this music again. Actually, I think the music I played last time was ridiculous. I don't think I played this one last time. 6 people in the house. 6 main people are joining Dan. Starting off with Anime Reyes. Tobias is in the house. Melanie Calapayan, one of my favorite people in the house. Jaylin is here. Aileen Cruz Official has opened the door for an exciting live stream. Janzel is here. Rider Adventure. Ninja Mutant. Turtle is here. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be in the world. This is Dan at Dan and Minnie's Journey, coming to you live from the desktop. Thank you so much. Desktop studio apartment, located in the heart of La Hougue, Cebu, a mere 12 to 15 minute walk through IT Park, and 8 minutes by bus, taxi, trike, hobble, jeepney to Ayala Central Mall, where everybody hangs out and is enjoying their cup of coffee while watching the show at Bo's Coffee Shop. Oh, I know what you're thinking. Yeah, it's not exactly the angle that I was looking for when we arrived earlier this morning, but it works to start things off. And the reason why you're looking at me from this angle is because the bathroom is located right, the CR that is located right off this shoulder. There, I got it, this shoulder, all right? And so you'll probably see Ma'am Minnie going back and forth. It's a little studio room, a little studio apartment, as I said, located in the heart of La Hougue, Cebu. Oh, a mere 10 steps away from JY Mall. You guys all know where that's at, right? Easy to find. Ma'am Minnie has hooked me up with the Copico Black. Filipina Raquel is in the house. Anna, May, and Laurice is here. Yeah, the mic is right here, located right where Ma'am Minnie put the cup down. So I'm gonna have to put a coaster down so that we don't have to hear the clinging sound every time it hits the desk. Anyway, I got a bit behind the computer. I've got a very, very large 32-inch monitor so that I could look over if I need to. See, I'm looking at it now to see the comments, just in case I miss a comment due to my failing eyesight. Actually, it's not failing. It's really the problem is with the right eye. I'm probably getting cataracts. That's what ends up happening to us old folks. I'll probably have to have the old cataract surgery, but the right eye is truly a pain in the ass. I mean, I get eye infections so easily in that eye. Of course, that's the eye that I had surgery on not too long ago, where they put a gel stent in there for glaucoma. Here's the thing that I caution you about. By the way, Mike, married to a beautiful woman's in the house. Welcome, welcome, welcome here. Richie's here. Let me talk a little bit about glaucoma, since today is the World According to Dan Day. So now here's the thing about glaucoma, in case you ever end up with this disease. It's a technically, the bottom line about it is it's a neurological disease, which means that if you have glaucoma, you have to keep watch out for other neurological disorders like Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's, and those related diseases that people get when they get older. So, I'm being a little bit probably overly vigilant. Yeah, I'm overly vigilant. I'm constantly paying attention to what's going on with me, subtle movements, especially subtle jerky movements, things like that. Well, here's the thing about glaucoma. So you can have, this is important news. It might come in handy. Girly Senna's in the house. This might come in handy, and this is the reason why I want to talk about this to start things off today. Because with glaucoma, there's a certain percentage of people that never develop the full disease, but they have the symptoms. They have the high IOP pressure in the eye. That's one of the identifying markers amongst others. But the people that have high IOP, that's high eye pressure. I'm not sure what IOP stands for, but it has to do with high eye pressure. It was long thought that if you have high eye pressure, 20 points and above, that you were more susceptible to getting glaucoma. Well, here's the thing, right? So I ran, not walked. I don't really, I don't really cherish the idea of going blind in any eye or both eyes, which eventually happens. You slowly but surely lose your eyesight, and it kind of looks like this. If you want me to describe it, it kind of looks like, a narrowing of the eye. You're able to see normally, and then over time it continues shrinking until your eyesight goes completely away. So I was warned in enough time that I could take some kind of action, right? Learn how to use a cane if I wanted to, learn how to read Braille, all that stuff. Listen, all you people out there that have glaucoma, don't send me hate mail. I'm an old man. I'm not going to learn new tricks. Nicole is here. Daisy Lynn's here. Smash is here. So I ran for the surgery. Now, we've since discovered that there's a certain percentage of people that have all the symptoms of the disease that never develop. They never develop it never turns into blindness. You never know if that's going to happen to you or not. You see, that's the problem with the whole thing. You have to gamble. The surgery involves them putting a gel stent in your eye to help relieve the pressure. Now, you only have to put a gel stent in one eye, So here's what happens. I was 20 IOP, and drops were being ineffective in lowering it. Eye drops that they currently use, they become ineffective over time, and so I wasn't able to lower the pressure. And the latest eye drops that they wanted me to try to lower pressure, the bill on that was something like $300 per month for the medication, and that is after my insurance paid the copay on it. So I said, no, we have to come up with some other alternative. Otherwise, $300 a month, I might as well go blind and learn how to use a stick, So $300 a month is, it isn't something I wanted to deal with. And there was no other alternative for that particular brand labeled drug because it was too new. So instead of paying that $300, I asked them, what's my other option? They said, well, you can go in and get the gel stent. And so I do research on this gel stent. Larry Lee's here. And it looks pretty promising, except it's still also relatively new surgery. But I go in there because I've had some successful surgeries, and I thought, well, man, I'm batting 1,000. Everything they do on me works, right? So this has got to work too. Wrong. So the first post-op, the first couple of days I get out of surgery, this was a couple of years ago now, right? So it was right before we left for Southeast Asia. I had this done. Everybody gets a tune-up. They usually do the teeth, the eyes. They go and get all the doctor and stuff done. The executive checkup. They do all the stuff before they venture out into Southeast Asia. Most people do that, I should say. Not everybody. Who's here? Avzor channel is here from Lapu Lapu. Oh, sure. We'll be celebrating Filipina Raquel at 9 a.m. She's her third year in business, third year of being a monetized channel. And hey, I'm here and they changed the monetizing requirements. But let me get back to the story. Let me finish this one up. So anyway, we had the surgery, which is no pleasant experience, even though it only takes like 10 minutes. They ratchet your eye socket open, and as you can see, it takes a couple of years to go back into shape. It actually moves those eye socket bones around, which of course going to change the way you look because it's going to change your eye socket appearance. And so for the longest time, it still looks weird, but for the longest time, it looked very weird. None of that stuff bothered me because after all, I am a happily married old man. All right, the rest of the story is after a couple of days, it starts going down, the eye pressure starts going down. And then about a week after the surgery, boom, it hits an IOP of 20 again. And so I go to the surgeon who's a very, very intelligent, insightful man, young man who enjoys doing the surgeries. And I said, I'm at 20 again. But the key here is that if you keep it stable at 20, then it'll slow down the progression of the disease. So now I said to him, it was 20. It was 20 prior to the surgery, as you know. I said it was 20 prior to the surgery, and they recommended that I have the gel stent put in so that I could have some control over the IOP. And it does not look like it has done its job. But if it stays at 20, then it did do its job. I said, no, it was staying at 20 without eye drops, without me doing anything except going to bed early and waking up in the morning. It was staying at 20. Anyway, the whole thing. So I go back and I what did I miss? Go back in the literature and discover that in a fairly decent sized percentage of the population, you'll have glaucoma symptoms with 20 eye pressure and above, and the IOP will never develop into glaucoma, and they think it has something to do with genetics. Now, all right, so did I make the right decision or did I make the wrong decision? Well, check this out. I probably made the wrong decision. So the reason being that they now say, their doctors are now telling me that an IOP of 20 is no big deal. So now they're moving the mark, they're moving the scale as to when you should panic and have the stent surgery. Everything changes over time. And so now I learned that, 20 is no big deal. Of course, other trained, ophthalmologists, optometrists, they make their own opinion about that. But in the literature now, they're starting to present a little bit more current data over long periods of time that are basically supporting the fact that, a certain percentage, we're talking a pretty good percentage of folks will never develop glaucoma with an IOP of 20. No one's ever going to know if I would have been one of those people. But I'm having hella trouble with eyesight in that eye. I need to go see the glass people. I need glasses. I need new glasses because the prescription is constantly changing. You know, it's a couple $100 American even in the Philippines. Philippines is catching on to how to make money in the medical profession. I don't imagine that this will be one of the cheapest places on the planet to get medical care over a long period of time. I just don't think so. I think in a very short period of time, we most likely will be facing high medical costs also in Southeast Asia because medical tourism has taken off. It's taken off like, well, kind of like a global calamity, or how should I say it a different way? A bat out of hell. All right, well, it sounds like they're working on the apartment next door again, or maybe they never completed it in the first place. So you may be hearing some nailing or pounding coming from the shared wall of the apartment. Or it's not really a shared wall, is it? But we're still hearing it. Knock, knock. All right, so where are we? Tobias, where are we? Mike, where are we? Larry, Avasor channel, Tobias, Tim. All right, so anyway, Mel, where are we? All right, so anyway, what can I say? What can I do? There's nothing I could do. There's nothing I could do. You know, nature is going to take its course. It's all downhill from here. And so the reason why I'm bringing this up is because it does have something to do with the moving around. In other words, we want to have access to, you know, the medical care here in Cebu, and it's a little bit better situation here than it is over there in Bye Bye City Leyte. After all, if you needed to, you have world-renowned St. Luke's is close by, and St. Luke's even has a clinic here as well. Of course, the one that's located in the high-rent district of Manila. But anyway, so I'm close by to where all the action is. You know, when I wouldn't have to worry about grabbing a ferry, you know, or grabbing a fast ferry or flying from Tacloban to Manila. All of it's doable. If any kind of event took place, I would be close by. That's the main reason why Minnie and I go back and forth so often. But anyway, sort of related to that, we're talking about now possibly renting an apartment in San Fernando, Pampanga, because I really fell in love. We were up there. I didn't run a video on it. I think I have video in the can. I don't know. I get video in the can, and then for some reason I never post it. But I may post it. Things don't happen on this channel in chronological order. Get used to it. Deal with it. That's how Dan's channel rolls. So what I may do is post that later on. Video in the can of San Fernando, and you'll see why I like it. It's just a very different type of community. As a matter of fact, as we move from north to south, east to west around the Philippines, every island, every experience is a little bit different. It's not exactly the same. And you know, we're up there in San Fernando. We have a lot of friends or relatives there, and I really, really enjoyed it. I mean, how can you not like it? How can you not like San Fernando, Pampanga? After all, I think Filipina Raquel is close by there, and I think Daisy Lynn Castro is somewhere in the neighborhood, and that would be nice to be able to call them up and say, "Hey, Daisy Lynn, hey, Filipina Raquel, let's go head over to the Dunkin'. Let's over to the Jollibee for breakfast." It would be nice to meet up with them once in a while, and you know, and tell lies to each other about YouTube and things like that. No, neither one of them. I'm the only liar in the bunch. Neither one of them are. But I'm a truth seeker. See that? I'm a truth seeker. That's what you can depend on about me. So who stepped into the chat? Yasmin is here. Yasmin, I missed someone else. Who stepped in? Yasmin and Gurleyson is here. Thank you for hanging in. 15 million at the moment, maybe more, maybe less. And San Fernando, let's see, San Fernando, Pampanga has the lanterns at Christmas time. Yeah, they do. Yeah. Oh, you're okay now. You're feeling better, Filipino Raquel. That's good. We're gonna, when they call Ma'am Minnie back up to do her swearing in, not to swear at her, but to do the swearing in ceremony, so she can reclaim her citizenship. And then we will be up there. That should be happening pretty soon. That should be happening. That should take place even before we, head back to Bye Bye City in a few weeks. We'll have to wait and see. I'm crossing my fingers. Pamela's here. Yeah. All right. So, what did I want to talk about today? Okay. So I pulled up LV's here. LV. Yeah, LV, I do apologize. I know you wanted me to spend some time in your chat, and I said I would be there. But I was there for 30 seconds, and then something came up. Michelle Lozada is in the house. I'm waking up now. All right, so let me tell you about the fair. So it turns out, let's see, usually we jumped on the ferry from Bye Bye City. So this worked out pretty good because you don't have to jump on a bus, go to Ormo, catch the fast ferry. Sometimes I'm in the mood to pay the business class on the fast ferry. Most of the time I'm in the mood, as a matter of fact, out of Ormo. But that entails an hour and 15 bus ride, an insane van ride if a bus isn't available, where they're going 80, 90, 100 kilometers per hour. Small children fear for their lives when they see the white van coming. Thank you for forgiving me, LV. I appreciate that. Anyway, I decided now let's leave at night. We'll leave Friday night. We'll just head over to the Lapu Lapu lines, but let's make sure we get the tickets early in the morning because I want a bottom bunk in the aircon compartment. Now they have two ships that come into Bye Bye. Their signature or their flagship is the Lapu Lapu. Obviously, it's called the Lapu Shipping Lines. Lapu Lapu Shipping Lines. Fortunately, we were able to get on that ship. We went early in the morning, like 7 or 8 o'clock. Headed over to get the tickets, and they were overly accommodating, making sure that I got my senior discount and the like. And it was, even though, I could have gone economy and not gone the air-conditioned class, the cabin turned out to be just unsold. It was not sold out. There were empty beds everywhere. Now, I've been talking about, now it's anecdotal evidence, so I took a stroll through the rest of the ship, especially on the way to the pee-pee room, Started doing the pee-pee dance. I said, well, this is a good time to go explore the ship to see how many passengers are on. And yeah, it was pretty full up in the economy section, but I started to notice empty beds. Empty beds. And that is a little bit scary because usually you have to get there early on the day that you plan to travel to hook up those tickets and to be guaranteed that you'll get the bottom bunk instead of having to climb above. So I looked around, practically every top bunk was empty in that AC, in that air-conditioned compartment, in the AC cabin. So I know, what I'm going to say, that's signs of low season. Mike married, that's low season, a sign of low season? Or is that a sign of a challenging economy? Because people do commute. from Leyte to Cebu to work. I know it sounds really, really bizarre, but people do it. They might commute a couple of times a month back and forth. Same way that Man Minnie and we commute a little bit more frequently because we're not worried about spending the dough. We have money to spend, but just got rid of cash bail. Oh, Illinois did. Yeah, they're working on that in California too. No jail for DUI or driving on a revoked license, things like that. Yeah, they don't even they stop people in Sacramento for car registration and revoked license and stuff like that. But then they do nothing. They just lecture them. They give them this talk. They wiggle the finger a little bit, and then they send them on their way. That's what's happening in California. So everybody's driving without a license. Nobody cares. There's lawlessness happening in California, but it is the Wild West. If you think about it, it is the way the West was born. History repeats itself. Instead of horses, we're now dealing with car thieves. Yeah, car thieves, and the lawlessness is riding a horse without a license. All right, so we got on the Lapu-Lapu, and it was a very, very smooth, albeit empty ship, but a very smooth passage from Leyte over to Cebu. Now, I've talked about this before, how I'm geographically challenged. And, I didn't know, like, I keep trying to figure out ways where we can travel to different islands like Negros Oriental or Bohol. And it's very accessible from Cebu, those places are, but they're also very accessible from Leyte. You go to Bato, you go south and follow the highway south towards Tim Cay in Masan, and halfway between Bye Leyte, maybe it's an hour and a half, could be two. You have Bato, and you can catch a ferry from Bato over to all those places that you so desire. Now, when we first moved here, we were supposed to meet up with a friend in Bohol, and I got burnt saying, oh man, we just got here from Cebu and I didn't know. I thought you could access Bohol from Leyte without going through Ormoc. The things you learn. Come to find out, Ben Barry's here. Come to find out, Ben, that you can go to Bato to the south. So I could either go to the north, you go Bato to the south from Leyte, and take the ferry over to Bohol if you so desire. And so I got to get off. I was telling Man Minnie, I got to get off my. Man Minnie is raring to go. Charmaine, Man Minnie is always raring to go. Wherever I say, all I have to do is mention it. Say, Bohol, let's go. Let's go. Or I say, let's go to Lapu-Lapu. Let's go. She'll go, right? She'll say, yeah. There's nothing holding me back. And then I just peter out. So she's telling me I got to get my act together. She's saying that you got to start visiting first, start at home and start visiting all the resorts that are on Bye Leyte first, because we have beautiful resorts that need to be explored. She's saying that that if people saw them, they would be shocked because they are so gorgeous. So anywho, we got 17 million people in the chat at the second that I'm looking. Is driving at night a privilege in the USA? Yes, driving anywhere is a privilege in the USA. It is not a right. We're not sovereign citizens traveling from one place to another, sovereign citizen style. If you're using the highways and the byways, then the government highways, the government sponsored highways and byways, then that means that you are it has rules for using those roads. So Sekbuchi is here. Sekbuchi. Or is it Buki? Princess Sarah's here. Princess. All right. So now, what's next to talk about? Okay, so I talked about the trip. So it was smooth sailing, no rough seas whatsoever. Even though Tobias, we have terrible storm approaching, but it's not coming near us. I don't believe. I think it's going to the north towards Luzon. Low pressure system that's looking like it's picking up speed, and it's hard to say if it's going to make landfall in the Philippines, but it definitely is in the Philippine territory of responsibility. And so I say to the Philippines, be responsible, and don't allow that typhoon to hit land on the island of Luzon. Send it north. But it's been a fairly mild rainy season in general. And that's whether you're talking about the island of Leyte, where they get hammered with storms, one after another. Now, it doesn't mean, oh, Des is here. How's JJ, Des? We saw Des the other day at the Dunkin' Donuts. It's always a pleasure to hang around with Des. It's always fun. She's just fun, very intelligent person. I don't know if you guys know this or not. She's like some kind of genius, I'm telling you. I hope Des doesn't mind me sharing with everybody that she's genius. And you have, let's see, who else? Tim is saying, just remember that Eisenhower was the driving force for the interstate highway system. Yeah, because Eisenhower wanted to make sure, I believe this is the reason, the military had a way of protecting its coastlines, and that would be moving equipment from north to south, east to west. If I'm not mistaken, that was like fifth or sixth grade history. I don't remember, but they talked about Eisenhower and the establishing of the national highway system and the reason. But I could be wrong. Okay, JJ is sleeping, and he is a little better. That's good. Great to hear. All right, so I'm just reviewing the make sure that people aren't trying to sling crap at me like they do it occasionally, All right, so yeah, Jasmine and JJ, and I believe she also had another child that passed away. I hope she doesn't mind me saying that. Yeah, Des has a very positive outlook on life, and that's the only way. That's the only way to be, in my opinion. Be very positive, have a smile on your face, and you just go for the goal. All right, so we got from Leyte to Cebu in like 6 hours. There were no delays whatsoever. And if you take the fast food, everyone knows it takes about 3 hours. We get there. We would get there quicker, except they have laws. They have maritime laws, like when you're pulling into the harbor. You better be slowing down that boat or that ship. I'm telling you, if you come into that harbor hot, you're going to have a fine to pay, and it is going to be a ginormous fine. It is going to be large. I woke up this morning and the peso rate was hovering around 54.77, which means it's slightly on the rise. But in general, the last couple of weeks, the peso has been gaining in strength, just like the typhoons gain in strength. So Smash is hanging in there with us. Jaylyn, always. All right, so now what are we going to talk about? So then I wanted to tell the rest of the story. We get off the ship. So we hung around for about 15 or 20 minutes after we docked. I'm looking around. Nobody's in a hurry to get off the ship. It turned out to be the Lapu-Lapu itself, by the way. I probably already mentioned that. I tell man Minnie, why is everybody hanging around here? Why aren't they shoving each other out of the way to get off this taxi? And she goes, well, it's because they're waiting for the sun to come up, because they probably have to walk or hitchhike or ride a motor. They have to do something else. But we don't. I said, we're lying here. We have an apartment in La Hogue. Let's get out. Let's get out and get over there. And so we did. And I noticed also, second anecdotal point I'd like to make about the failing Philippine economy, or the stressed Philippine economy, like a very stressed American economy, is that they were coming up, the taxi drivers themselves were coming up and saying, hey, you know, you need a ride. And I was like, man, oh man, Minnie, I go, I didn't have a chance to talk to her about it. I said, but there's something different there. Look at this. I said, here comes this big ship in. It's got who knows how many bazillion people are supposed to be on it. And the taxis are parked idle for as far as you could see. As far as you could see. And so I didn't get a chance to tell Minnie what my idea is. I said, let's just walk this way. And we walked down the line to the very last taxi at the end of that street, that as you're approaching the pier, where all the pier ticket offices are. I don't know what the name of that street is. And the guy's waving, he's smiling because he knows already that we're coming for him. We're coming to get him. Now, I had to go through like 20 or 30 taxi drivers. Pick me, and a couple of taxi boys, and one taxi girl, as a matter of fact, who wanted to make a tip for escorting us over to the taxi. Well, I'm all good with that, as you know. But I was making a beeline to the dude who was way down the taxi line, and so he smiled when he saw me coming, because somehow he knew we were coming to take his cab. So we went down there, and let's see. Oh yeah, I will. Mike is saying, if you have a drawing, please give mine to Des if she wins. Okay, that's good. That's good. I will. All right, and let's see. And we jumped in there, and he hot-footed us over to La Hogue, to our apartment. Now, thing is, there's no traffic that time in the morning. We got in at like 2:30 in the morning, and there's no traffic. Although I was very, very surprised at how much traffic there was. It was started to materialize. And I thought to myself, well, that's what I love about the Philippines. I mean, that's what I love about the Philippines. Hey, by the way, guys, I wanted to go back to 60. I'm losing out at 400 pesos per 100. Yeah, it was fun while it lasted. It's going to go back up, and the reason why, is because on the 26th, when is that? A few days, the Fed's meeting, they're going to raise interest rates, and then boom, it'll adjust itself again, because it floats against the dollar. All right, what was I going to talk about now? Oh, okay, so I see the traffic start, so now I know what time the traffic starts. So I worry about getting hit by some drunk driver going home. But that generally does not happen, because the bars close, and then they take taxis. They generally don't have their own cars, so the drunks aren't driving, and that is probably why they have, to a certain degree, a lesser degree of those types of things occurring here in the Philippines. You're most likely to get killed as a pedestrian by a drunk on a trike than you would by a car. I know what you're thinking. Death is death, Dan. It doesn't matter how you're killed. But so I observed, and I really, from now on, I think that's the way to go. The way to go is to take this Lapu-Lapu. I've said it before. Lapu-Lapu lines go straight to the front door practically. The only thing I'm worried about is getting from the pier, when we go on the return trip from Baybay City Leyte over to over to the house. But last time we were there, there were hella trike drivers waiting. What we did to get to the pier, because it was after hours, is we have a neighbor who has a van, and he's so gracious. He rents the van out for special occasion. Of course, there's no more of a special occasion than muling Man Mini and I over to the pier. He's happy to do it, and for a very reasonable price. Of course, he always says, "It's up to you. It's up to you. It's up to you." Oh, yes, 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 yes. All right, where are we at? Where are we at? I'm starting to bore you, right? Okay, so now I had an article I wanted to share with you. That's the next thing. Let's see. Mike is saying, let me bring this up. Mike is saying yesterday we had a 26-year-old woman killed by a city bus. It's 60 feet long. Oh my gosh, that is horrible. I can't imagine. I just can't imagine something like that happening. That's incredible. My wellness here. 20 million people in the house. Thanks for being here. Good morning, Crystals. Crystals, what exciting adventure are you going to be on today? Crystals, Man Mini says, hey. All right, so now. Oh, I was able to cancel out. So here's what was going on with the mic in both places, both in Bye and here. Did not know that on Windows 10 or 11 or any other Windows or any computer, you have to go in there and you have to go in there into sound and record, and then you have to disable the mics that you don't want to use. And so since most of the cameras, the high def cams come in with built-in mics, I was getting the echo chamber vibe. I might even be getting it now. I'm not sure. I wouldn't know unless you told me, because I hadn't disabled the use of the high definition camera. I still had not disabled the sound, the microphone, and I didn't disable the microphone on the computer, on the laptop, so it was going full blast. And so I enabled the one that I'm using now, which is this Dulce broadcasting directional microphone. So I hope the sound is improving a little bit, but even if it isn't, you got to go with what you know. And so this is the sound from here on out. Tobias is saying, you sound good, Dan. Thank you for that confirmation. So, and also I do have the windows opened. It's very cool here today in Cebu. It's surprisingly so. And doesn't seem like it's all that humid. It seems just like another regular day in LA. No, LA is burning up right now. Los Angeles is burning up. Folks are sending messages saying we're dying over here. And historically, when I was growing up there, we are talking history. I could testify on a stack of Bibles that it is a Mediterranean climate. It's a Mediterranean climate. Nobody really knew anything until recently what air conditioners were all about, because you never needed one. It's a very Mediterranean climate. Very rarely did it ever get over 80 degrees, but they're suffering 100-degree weather, 103, 105, 110. And of course, our government is jumping on it saying, oh, it's global warming and we have to do something to stop it or it's going to kill half the population of the world off. And, it was nice while it lasted. That's where I'm coming from. I'm not, as most of you know, I'm not afraid of my demise, my own demise, because it's part of life. Death is part of the whole process. Something good probably would come out of my demise. I don't really worry about it, but the government is. And why would your government be worried about it? Because they need population in order to keep the consumer happy and consuming and money in their pocket. because they thrive. They not only survive, they thrive. Yeah, they probably, Manolina's here. They probably have underground shelters that they get to go to when things get a little bit hot on the surface of Earth. But now they're talking about injecting the atmosphere with aluminum and iron oxide, and the theory behind that. And by the way, I did a little research on this, so you don't have to. You know how I am. Marian Salonga's here. I did a little research on this and discovered the reason why this was an original idea brought to you by Oppenheimer. Everybody knows Oppenheimer, right? Oppenheimer is the guy who brainiaced the nuke. You know, he's the one that at Los Alamos and Livermore Labs, and he participated in, you know, in the development of the nuke. Well, anyway, hopefully they'll never use the nuke on anyone. But that's Oppenheimer. I just wish I didn't get there so fast. Yeah, I'm not afraid of getting old either, but the years are going by really, really quickly. And I got to get a lot of fun in the next 5 years, Tim. You know, I'm all about the fun. I'm all about the fun, and so I've got to start having more of it. And I'm thinking, man, Minnie and I, we're already enjoying our life. We already are enjoying. We're already maxing out our life. But if you had an enjoyment scale of 1 to 10, we would be at a 10. We would at least be at a 9.5 for enjoyment of life. But dang it, that leaves the 0.5 that we need to work on. And we're going to be doing that. So, and we're going to be cramming it in 5 years. You know, probably really stepping up our game soon. Probably because we'll be going to LA. And I'm not spending a whole bunch of time in LA. I'm going by hugging the mom, hugging the kids, you know, spreading as much crap as I possibly can in the short period of time we're there. And then we're out of the country. As a matter of fact, oh my goodness, I forgot to tell Ma'am Minnie, we need money to buy the plane tickets. And so we're going to be heading over to the travel agency. Probably today or tomorrow, we're going to be getting the price on tickets. We have to buy them soon for an October 1st through the 15th travel date. Oh, speaking of that, is that too much personal information that I'm sharing? Folks, I wanted to explain something. Okay, so you notice I got a couple of comments. No, that's an understatement. I got 1 million comments. No, that's too many. Somewhere in the middle, from 1 to 1 million, I got comments about, Dan, you expose your address for everybody to see. You expose your phone number. And, well, exposing my phone number is no big deal, you know, because everybody knows my phone number because I use it when I distribute Gcash funds. And so, but my home address, it's a little bit different, I'll admit. I wasn't paying too much attention to that home address on there when I was showing it, but it wasn't the complete home address. It gets you in the neighborhood, but does not get you to Dan's house. But it doesn't really matter because everybody knows where Dan and Minnie's house is. See, this is the problem with trying to hide the address, right? Is that it doesn't matter because as soon as you set foot in Bye Bye Leyte and you tell someone, I want to go see the foreigner that wears the funny hat and those glasses. I want to. Can you tell me where to find him? And they're going to give you directions to my house, or they're going to point to the Dunkin' Donuts store and says, he's there between 10 and 10:30. Or they might say 9:30 and 10:30. You'll find him there. So there's no hiding from anyone in Bye Bye City Leyte, that's for sure. And and my phone has not been ringing off the hook since I published my phone number and it might start now, but I don't have my phone active. The phone number I only use it for data. I only use it so I could access I could send out Gcash and I could access messenger and return messages. That's all that's going on there. So it didn't have the complete address, and that's the reason why they tracked down Jill, my brother-in-law. The delivery driver, he got a good tip, and the reason why is because when he got the package that was coming in from the States via Amazon, or from Amazon, by the way, it was Ninja Vans, Ninja Van Delivery Service. They picked it up in San Bernardino, California, and they muled it all the way to Bye Bye City, the same company. Once it transferred from initially from Amazon, its own delivery drivers from Las Vegas fulfillment center to San Bernardino, they picked it up because apparently they have an office in San Bernardino, and they muled that package all the way to Bye Bye City Leyte, to my front door. If you go in the video and you watch, you'll see the guy is wearing a shirt that says, it's branded, it says Ninja Van on it, Ninja Delivery, and that is the whole story. So if you want to come to my house and throw eggs at it, yeah, okay. D-Man is here. It's not the years, it's the mileage. Isn't that the truth, huh? It is kind of true, because I was saying in an earlier video that you could, for the guys that didn't do this, Larry Lee, I know you're one of them. You had your fun on the front end of life, and the reason why, and you haven't talked about it to the best of my knowledge, but I don't know if it's having any kind of effect. It doesn't seem to be. Larry, you seem like you're in good shape. You're healthy. You're you haven't told anybody that you've come up with a big C or anything, you know. So I'm taking that having fun in the front end of your life by going out and drinking until the bars close. It seems not to have done you any harm. But I had made a conscious decision, you know, a long time ago, that I would be doing this on the back end of my life at retirement, that nobody's going to be able to stop me from becoming a drunkard once I retire. And I've been talking about this for a very long time. Ma'am Minnie definitely knows the plan, because she'd come home, you know, looking for a cold one. There's nothing in the refrigerator. Only occasionally would she be able to find a beer inside the ref, because it wasn't something that I went out and I had to have. I had decided that I would be frying my liver up on the tail end of my life, not in the very beginning. And the whole idea behind that was, I thought, very logical, you know, and that is that, you know, if you drink to excess or you smoke to excess, it usually results in bladder cancer and prostate cancer, they think, but there's no research to support it, and other things, right? So don't smoke and don't drink. But now on the tail end, where it takes 20 years to develop a cancerous growth in anywhere, you know, I'm not sure. I'm just throwing out a number. Don't listen to Dan. You know, obviously everybody knows. Don't listen to Dan, nor put anything that Dan has to say in play. Well, then it made sense to me. You know I sound like a kid. It sounds very kid-like, very childlike. To go crazy, you know, to go crazy on the tail end, on the going home side. Maybe I wouldn't feel any pain, right? When the time came. Oh, okay. So Larry's saying, maybe it does. Maybe it did contribute to my weight problem. But no, I always thought that those cereals that come in boxes, you know, were the things that caused the weight problem. They did for me anyway. Ben says, if I make it to 70, I'm going to do all the drugs. Yeah. Do, you know, try a line of coke. You know what the problem is? The problem is that it's not the same. They're not the same drugs as they were when I was growing up as a kid. That's what the biggest problem is. I wouldn't recommend that you try any of those drugs. I certainly wouldn't recommend that you, when you get over here, you start throwing back tuba wine, you know, because that is deadly. I mean, tuba wine, unless you're actually the one making it, you don't want to go anywhere near the stuff. It's the ferment, it's how they ferment it that bothers me. How you get so used to it that you would want to speed up, how should I say it? Speed up the fermentation process. And so we have a very, very strict no tuba rule. And people laugh at me when I talk about this. Yeah, people laugh and they say, "Oh, Dan, you haven't tried my tuba." When they first started saying tuba, I thought they were talking about a musical instrument. Mm-hmm. Silas Vlog is here. Welcome, Silas. Yeah. Okay, so now I was going to talk about this newspaper article. So yeah, mileage. So it's all good. It's whatever you want to do. I don't drink alcohol, smoke cigarettes, no pot, no stress, but I drink pop and eat junk food. Kiss of death, Mike. Kiss of death. But did you start doing it when you were an adult, or have you been doing it your entire life? See, that's what I'm talking about. That's really what I'm talking about. Are you just starting in on it now? Have pizza. Have a pizza on me, you know? Oh, Mike. Sugar kills. Sugar kills. Hard liquor has more calories than beer, but why is it? Why is it that brandy is the recommended and tequila are the recommended alcohols of choice when you're on the keto diet? I love Emperador. There's hardly a day that goes by that I don't have, Emperador over ice. Not with that lemon stuff, just the Emperador over ice. There's no better drink in the world, I'm telling you. And when I brought that up of course, when I brought that up to some people, they just look at me and they cringe. They go, "I can't drink that over ice. You're gonna rot your guts right out, Dan." I go, "It's a beautiful drink. It is absolutely the best drink that I've ever had." And so I don't drink much beer. But there's a big bottle of Emperador hanging around the house, maybe two all the time, because I got to have that one drink right about it, right around dinner time, right after dinner time, cocktail hour, every single day. Now, would Mam Minnie say that I'm turning into an alcoholic? Am I an alcoholic, Mam Minnie? Would you say? She just laughed. She laughed. Yeah. She just laughed. It's Mam Minnie that you should be giving the speech to. Go to her Facebook page and take a look around. Start with shrooms. You look great for 70. Yeah, exactly. What's wrong with psychedelics? They open up your world a little bit, don't they? No, remember I said, don't listen to Dan nor try any of this at home. Yeah, there's nothing in the world that's tastier than a Reese's peanut butter cup or a Dunkin' Donut. You don't do vitamins. Well, coconut wine, Tobias. Don't worry, if you're hanging around with Filipinos, they're going to invite you. They'll hand you some coconut wine as you're walking by on the street. Yeah. Tuba's yummy. Yeah, we know how yummy it is, Des. It runs in families. Okay, on my mother's side. Doggone. It's a liqueur. All right. What is a liqueur? You mean the tuba wine or the Emperador? I love Emperador. 162 pesos per bottle. Is that for the large bottle, hun? The large bottle. It's like a fifth of scotch. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. When I had that the first time, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this stuff is a this is a beautiful drink." And now we have a little club. We have a little club where we're throwing back Emperador over ice. They come over, friends come over. Tobias says, "I love drinking cold beer and eat chicken wings spicy hot." Ah, that sounds wonderful. That sounds absolutely wonderful. By the way, we ate pig before coming over here. We had pig. My brother's a coconut pilot. He's making tuba and selling it. So there you go. And now you know where to get the tuba. Good morning, Anna May. Minnie says hi, Anna May.
Hi, Anna May.
You hear her in the background? She's sitting there enjoying her life, working her phone. Minnie isn't sure about it. No, she isn't. Not really.
See you again.
Yeah, I asked her the question. She just smirked. How did you know? It was like you were able to see her, Crystals. You have to have it, or can you stop anytime? Well, see, that's the question. Of course, that is an important question, and I will skip days, and so I wouldn't say that it's something that I have to have. I could skip days. But what does a typical alcoholic say? Oh no, I'm not dependent on it. So you figure it out, Mike. What do you think is going on with me? Wow, you need to invite me next time for them 25-cent wings and $1 beers. Yeah, yeah. So we were up early in the morning. We got in and we napped, got up like I said, I got up late and I was running around like, oh, I got to set up my computer and make sure everything's working. So I've been spending time. I was spending time, but before showtime, taking care of all of that. Like I say, it has to do with the heat and humidity, and only men get it. Okay. I can sell the recipe for buffalo style chicken wings. Ah, Tim, the new and improved uh, Kentucky Fried Chicken. The new and improved Colonel Sanders is what I meant to say, Tim. Hello, man. Minnie says Larry.
Hi, Sir Larry.
Yeah, they all say hello. Okay, Mike got it. All right. So now let's talk about this story, or else I'll never get to it. You know how Dan is. You know how Dan is, Ben. The Filipino geyser can't last when we have a few work beers. They all fall asleep, and I'm just starting. Yeah, and I don't really know why that is. They're just probably used to drinking tuba. You know. Yeah, man, Minnie is busy working her phone. No more hangouts with friends. No more emperador.
No more beer.
No more beer, she says. Yeah, she started laughing at anime. That was an anime saying that. Are you watching? Are you watching the live from your phone? You're watching the chat. She's in the chat. You can make comments. Can you make comments in there? I can quit anytime that I want. I just don't want to quit. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'll quit tomorrow. I'll quit tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes. I'll quit tomorrow. You know how I am about tomorrows. There are never, ever any tomorrows in my life. There's only today. Maybe you don't drink that liquor while they are not looking. Haha. So everyone are sober except for you, mate. All right. Dang it. I gotta get to my phone. I got to get to my phone because I have things to say. I wanted to read an article that was published in the Philippine Star Online. Where do I find it? Philippine Star Online. Nope, haven't found it so far. Yeah, it shows you how this article is a demonstration. Let's see, Mike married. Oh, wait. There seems to be a response to the KFC thing. Did you know that KFC was made famous worldwide because it came to Canada and lived in Toronto for 20 years? Nope. Did not know that. All right, I did not know that. Okay. All right, so I found the article. Now, it's just I'm just gonna read a little bit of it. You'll get the gist of it. It's just that uh, things are becoming very American-like here in the Philippines. It's another one of my things that I'm given as an example. Let's see, this was Philippine Star Global article written by Emmanuel Tupas. July 22nd, 2023, 12 a.m. So this dude, while we were coming over on the ferry, this dude was posting this article. Okay, here we go. I'll start over. More than half of the country's police force have rejected the proposed 5% contribution for their pension being pushed by the government's economic managers, the Philippine National Police said. Uh-oh. PNP chief said this was a result of the survey conducted to get the sentiments of 228,000 strong police force members. Based on the survey, 60% plus expressed resistance. It means that around 137,000 police officers are against the proposal to kick in 5 to 9% contribution. Now, here's what a cop makes in the Philippines, in case you don't know. Here's what a national police officer makes. They're considered to be like the elite, right? They're considered to be like the elite. Under PNP regulations, the salary of a patrolman is approximately 30,000 pesos a month. That would be what, $600 American money, approx. While those with the rank of corporal and above have a monthly base salary of 31,000 pesos per month. They get a little bit more for kissing somebody's ass. So the Marcos administration economic managers want reforms in the pension program in order to avoid a fiscal collapse. Why is it happening? I'm going to tell you why it's happening. You stick with Dan, and I'm going to tell you it's happening for the very same reason it's happening in the U.S. of A. Oh, Ma'am Minnie, can I trouble you, Ma'am Minnie, for a second helping? Let's see. It's happening for the same reason. The Department of Finance cautioned military and uniformed personnel amid the surge of the number of those opting for early retirement as the government pushes for pension reform. So see, early retirement in the United States, let me give you an example. In the US of A, if you're public safety and you're entitled to early retirement, you can leave the police force or a law enforcement agency when you turn age 50, as long as you have something like 25 or 30 years of service. So that means if you became a police officer at 21 and you did your 25 or your 30 years, you're going to be a relatively young person when you collect up your retirement. And they also get a boost of retirement pay because they were public safety officers. So it's not the same as everybody else gets. They get a little extra for putting their lives on the line. And this is pretty much what government is all about, public safety, providing fire rescue services, ambulances, and police officers, both nationally and locally, because the huge part of taxation is going to be going towards public safety. That's how it was born, to keep you safe. It's for the benefit of the tax-paying population, if you will, or the population in general. You don't even really have to be taxpayers. So now, of course, everybody's resisting. And of course, we went through this when I was a county worker, government worker in California. We went through this. And they passed a law, and then they had to come to the unions and negotiate. The law was passed, but it couldn't automatically be enforced unless they went to the bargaining table, because they were hamstrung by the union contracts. And so it worked out great for me. And the reason why it did is because it enhanced my retirement at the same time they were asking me to make a larger contribution to that retirement. So by the time that bill passed, I was already within 4 years of retiring. So the people that really, really have to worry about their retirement future are not the old guys like me. It's the young guys coming in to the police department. It works the same in the United States. They're having a hell of a time recruiting. And but my answer to this whole thing, since it is I view it as being a pension pyramid scheme, is that you have to have a layer on the bottom that pays into the system that the pension fund invests for them to get the return on the investment, so that you will be a happy camper at retirement. And so they're trying to push the retirement age back a few years, like 4 or 5 years, and trying to increase the contributions that are required from the PNP and the military in the Philippines. So this is something that's going to be happening across the board for everybody all over the globe. So doesn't it make you wonder if they're all playing from the same playbook? Remember in one of my videos I said, or in one of the live streams I said that it's all a play to me. They have script writers and they're just sitting behind the curtain writing the script, and they present them at these meetings that everybody attends of world leaders, and then behind closed doors they discuss what is coming next in order to control and enslave its population of people. So once the bankers realize that they're going broke, then they start figuring out ways where the taxpayer can bail them out. When is that a popular idea? Why is that such a popular idea? Oh my God, oh my God. If we don't allow this, then the banks will go broke. Well, that's free enterprise, capitalism in the States. That's what we call it. Only the strong survive, and the weak shall perish. And that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. You shouldn't be fooling around. Don't fool around with Mother Nature. It's been this way forever. And so it should continue to be that way. I'm not the Bank of America. Do you see a Bank of America sign on me? Why should they come and grab my taxpayer money? So the same thing's happening here. In other words, they're saying, hey, we're running out of money to invest. Too many people are retiring early. I think when they did the survey, I think buried in this article, they talk about how something like when surveyed, 73% of current police officers and military personnel plan to take their retirement early. I'm not surprised, because they're young when they retire. They're young. It happens in my neighborhood. Abby is here. Chrissy Mom is here. Welcome, welcome. New Zealand voted out compulsory super annuation pension in the 70s. Australia kept theirs and is now worth billions, and it funds itself. Yeah, we're funded. I think our retirement fund that I pull my money from has a high rate of return. It's fully funded. Well, it's considered fully funded, but truth be told, it floats somewhere between 85 and 90%. But as the economy falters and the stock market performance meets its challenges, which I expect it will in the future, it's doing well right now, then they will be, they'll have a challenge trying to meet their obligations. But I'll tell you, Dan, the world according to Dan, right? And so I know the answer to this, though. The answer to this is not to, well, it might be to slightly increase the contributions to the degree that it makes sense for its personnel. In other words, they may not be happy with the chunk of change that they're asking for now, because they're going to go for the jugular. They're going to go with the highest number and say, hey, we need this in order for the fund to remain solvent. But the answer really is sell them on 3%. And that'll get the ball rolling in the proper direction. And that's kind of what they did in the States. They kind of came in there and they said, we can't swallow the whole pig in one bite. We have to take it in tiny, tiny little bites, Alien cruise officials here. Yeah, so we have to take it in little teeny, tiny bites. You can't swallow the whole hog in one sitting. You have to give yourself some room to digest this idea. But I have a better plan than that, right? And that is called turnover. Oh, let me see what Tobias says. Fidelity is a great firm for investing in my 401k, went through the roof. Yeah, and as soon as it did, I have a 457k, man. Minnie and I have an account. We each have an account. They're separate accounts. And hers is doing fantastic. And mine, not so great. And the reason is because I pulled all the money out of the high risk equity funds. The ones for which you're probably invested in where you're making a ton of money. Because I don't trust the market. I just don't. Not at my age. Man, Minnie, she could afford to lose a third of her entire investment. She'll survive. I will not. Well, yeah, I will, because I'm planning on giving it all to her anyway. There's no reason for both of us to be taking that extreme risk. But yeah, it grew. It grew like nobody's business. I'll tell you what the great equalizer for me was. The great equalizer. Some people won't understand how this works, because they're. It's the Philippines. It's a really foreign idea, saving money and things like that. First of all, I don't believe in saving money. That's the first thing. Spend it where you got it, and then that'll do more good for the economy than saving it for a rainy day, for which you end up dying the day after retirement. According to my actuarial charts. Oh my gosh, this is so good. Which coffee is this one? Copico.
You like that?
Mm-hmm.
Tastes good though.
Oh yeah. Tastes sweet like sugar.
Yeah, a little bit.
Is this Copico black with
I
sugar?
mix it a little bit Copico and
Yeah, it's yummy.
coffee.
All right, so turnover is what turnover is how you gain equity in the pension system, right? Let's see what Ben says. I think boomers suffer a little bit. They had most of the prosperous 50 years in human history saved for themselves. Yeah, but you know what? Good for them. I mean, good for us is all I could say. Yeah, but I liquidated all of my assets, as you know. So there's nothing to be left behind for anyone. But no, the truth be told is I have been given some of the money away. And one reason why is I shared it with you on this channel. It's because it gets accumulated. It's such a weird thing to say. I realize I do apologize. I apologize to people that are suffering and they don't have enough food on the table. But I came to the realization that I don't need anywhere near the money that we're receiving in pensions in order to survive, in order to have the lifestyle that Minnie and I plan for ourselves. Dan, I worked for Verizon, put 15% of my salary into it. When I was 49, my company matched us up to 16%. I'll tell you what, when you get a deal like that, you got to take advantage. That means that you could sustain 16% losses because they're making that 16% contribution, basically guaranteeing your success in the market. So, but it doesn't always work out so well. So we have, a surplus of cash in that stupid checking account every month, and I keep looking at it and I say, man, I have to start doing something with this money. And so continue to invest it. And EMC is here. It does not make any sense because I'm in the going home side of town. So either you just you give it to Mam Minnie and let her go out and party hardy, or I party hardy. And that's pretty much what we do. And the rest of the money that's left over, we just spread it around. And a lot of people in this channel have been the beneficiary of that, of our generosity to that degree. And by the way, I'm not bragging. How do they say it? It's not brag, it's just fact. And so it sounds to me like a couple of you are also in that position. If you paid into the system fairly, why is because the government spent the money. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. I did my part. The government transfers the money into different funds when they need it. They borrow against it and never pay it back. Or they just flat out steal from the fund. And that's life in the big city. But they also guarantee that no matter what happens, you'll continue to get your pension. That's written into the laws. And so go if you want to. Go in there and steal all the money you want. Who cares? Who gives a rat's ass? I don't care. But ultimately, the taxpayers should care because they're the ones that are hung up for the money. So that's the way it works in the States. Yeah, they use the money for other things. That's exactly what I said and what Larry agrees. They use the money for different things. So now, how do you solve the PNP's problem? Well, you solve it the same way the state is, right? You make it more difficult for people to tolerate working for stupid people. And then they will leave after a while. And then they've made contributions that they can't go back and get. So it takes so many years to fully invest in the system, right? To be fully vested. So let's say that your system is 5 years before you're fully invested, before you get your contribution, all the money that's been earned, and the government's contribution to the fund. Then, as long as they make your life miserable during that last year of that 5th year, and before your anniversary date, they somehow convince you to voluntarily quit. So see, turnover is good. And so that kind of is what's happening in the States. But it does have backlash. And here's what could happen. After a while, here's what happens. People start spreading around. They start telling people that it's a miserable place to work. Governmental services is a miserable place to work. They start spreading this around. And they make your life miserable, and it's hell trying to get through the first 5 years. Then they start having trouble recruiting. And once they start having trouble recruiting, you're done. Because then there's no one that comes to work for you. And you cannot even use that approach in order to support the pension fund. And guess what's starting to happen in the United States? The same exact thing that I just said. People said, screw this. I'd rather be a digital nomad on YouTube. I'd rather develop, 15 and 20 passive income streams using ChatGPT and my computer, and then travel all over the country and travel all over the world, until I get rich. And people are getting rich. On the other hand, the governments are trying to figure out a way to increase tax revenue in order to support those pension fund obligations. For example, if you guys went and looked it up, no one is in worse shape than the state of California public employees retirement system. If you guys are that curious, just go take a look at it. But here in the Philippines, the same thing. It looks like it's starting to happen. We got to hold up the fund. The only way you can do that is change the law, make it a little bit, so they have to make more of a contribution, and then move the retirement age a little bit. Just tickle it a little bit. Just give it a little tickle, a little adjustment, but people won't be happy. So my prediction as to how this keeps going, or how it will go, is they're going to make a two-tiered system. It's logical. And so the people hired from this date, they have to deal with this new pension program. And the ones hired after that date, they are grandfathered in for the old pension system. And that's pretty much the way it's going to go. They have to just set up the storyline for everybody to get all excited. And so are they not writing this book, this script, in a back room somewhere? Maybe that writers from Saturday Night Live, in their spare time, they work for governments around the world, coming up with strategies for change. Think about it. Remember, this is supposed to be a thought-provoking experience for you. Yeah. I mean, you know how everybody is running to maritime school now? Because if you want to be rich, go to maritime school. And so now all the maritime schools are packed. And then all of a sudden, nobody's shipping any goods on the container ships. Folks, open your eyes. Folks, Chow Ram is here. Good morning, Chow Ram. Good morning. Thank you for being here. Folks, open your eyes. It's theater. It is theater. All of a sudden, right, you have all the schools. You know how expensive it is to go to Maritime Academy. You have all these guys being trained, oh yeah, when I get out of here, I'm going to be on one of these container trips. I'm going to see the world. I'm going to have a girlfriend in every port. My life will be great because I'll be able to send millions home to my family. They will be able to buy the house and lot that they deserve. And now the whole thing has fallen apart. The whole scheme is fallen apart, because now no one is hiring. Why? We got all the sailors we need, Cha Ram. We got all the sailors we need. Yes, I just find everyone is happy to get government money. It's for them. Of course, there's no better way of getting me to vote for you than to write me a check. You write me a check, you have my vote. Yes. Putin ended the deal allowing grain to be shipped from Ukraine. There will be food costs rising, of course. Of course, the price of cornflakes is going up. I guarantee you. Guarantee you the price of cornflakes is going up. Moelma's here. Mildred Belengue is here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Pamela hanging in with us. Ben Berry is here. Tobias is here. Laurice is here. Crystal's in the house. Larry Lee. Let's see what Larry Lee has to say. The government used Social Security to pay for Medicaid. Yes, they use it to pay for everything. Yep, they use it to pay for everything. And so anyway, live and let live. I mean, if you have faith, if you're a very religious person, then yeah, I think that you put your faith in God at this point. Yeah, I certainly do. I vote, put your faith in God. Let's see. I think it's important when you say government to remember it's elected government. Yes, but we keep electing these idiots. We keep electing slave owners. We keep electing people that are related to the old school. It's kind of like a passing of the baton from one generation to the next. That's what it's becoming. Payroll taxes are used to fund Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid as not enough peeps are working to resupply the funds. That's right. It's broke and it doesn't know it. And that's why they're saying we're going to be out of money by 2030 or 2035. And that's fine by me. That's fine by me. Do what you will. Only pay me if the fund only has 75%. If it only can be funded at 75%, give me my check for 75%. I don't care. I really don't. I really don't. Life takes all kind of twists and turns. Some things you can do things about or something about. Some things you can't. My point is, don't get upset when the younger generation doesn't vote to take care of the baby boomers because they can hardly afford a house, but they really don't want one. See, here's the misunderstanding, Ben. The millennials really don't want a house. They don't want to be burdened by the whole thing, right? They would rather see the whole country collapse and have to pay property tax. I mean, those idiots in California are living proof, it's idiotic. It's idiotic to have the cost of have property tax go up by 2% every single year automatically. So that was one of the reasons why I divested myself of my house. I could have kept it. It was easily affordable. It wasn't even 1/3 of the mortgage that most people have to carry on a new home. Why would I sell it? Why would I sell it? Huh? I should have just taken the money out of it, walked away like everybody else. No, I'm just kidding. That definitely is not me. Here's Edward Beck is in the house. Welcome, Edward Beck. Edward D. Beck is in the house. All right, so that's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. 2% increase every year. And a couple of times I had to go down to the county building and I had to say, hey, my house is not worth this assessed value. And they say, oh, and so once you fill out that form, you give it to them, they have to reassess it. So a couple of times they lowered the assessment on the home. And I would point to, where's your proof? I said, well, the murder across the street would be proof enough. That certainly had an impact on property value, I would say. The murder across the street would significantly impact the property value of your domicile, right? Okay, so now what's next? Oh, okay. Man, Minnie, we were talking. Okay, we had to grab and go really fast. On the the list that we used for the drawing. So it ended up getting put that your debits ended up getting put in this Ziploc bag. And then she says, oh, she starts bugging me. We were in the cab and she says, oh, you better draw a number today. You better draw a number. I wasn't going to have a drawing today, honey. No. You got to have one. So she convinced me that. What's that?
How many you draw once a week?
I'm drawing almost on every live stream now, honey.
Every live stream.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
And I had told people I wasn't going to do it. Here's the camera.
This is embarrassing camera.
Yeah, here's the camera right here. Yeah, you could stand right there.
What is the new one?
Yeah. Well, it's not new. This is the old one. You're hiding now? You're hiding? You have to draw, though, honey. Do you want me to? You have to draw this number, right?
Yeah.
All right, I hope everything works out okay. Because we are going to shake it in this bag. I've been carrying this around in my suitcase, and I think that some of these got smashed. But man, Minnie, draw a number for us. Let's see how this turns out.
Okay, here. First draw.
All right, first draw is number 64.
That's your age.
Who's that? Who's
64.
64? My age. Cut it out. That is not my age. I'm older than that. Mawelma, number 2. I saw Mawelma in here.
Hi, Sir Edward.
Mawelma
How are you?
going once. Mawelma number 2 going once. Mawelma's here. Mawelma number 2 going twice. There she is.
Yay!
You win. You're
Congrats.
today's 200 peso winner. Chicken dinner. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Mawelma. Do I have your GCash number? Send it to me in the messenger so that I don't have to go look around for it. I just got back, and even if I didn't, stuff is all over the place. I'm very disorganized and going senile or whatever's going on with me. Congratulations, Mawelma. We're going to end it right here, guys. I have talked myself to the point where I can't stand hearing myself talk anymore.
Miss Anami.
So Larry, we forgot to have
Sir
you send us
Larry.
out. Yeah, Sir Larry is going to send us out with words of wisdom. Yeah, this selection is rigged. Yeah, exactly. It's got to be. It's this selection. Oh, I thought you meant the selection on the. Yeah.
Maniling.
Here you go.
Bye.
Words of wisdom, words to live by, which is why I love it so much. Everybody, remember to be kind to each other. Take care of yourself. Stay safe and healthy. Plus, always try to have fun. And we'll come up with something new and exciting this week for you to enjoy, as they say. On the next time, until the next time, thanks for joining us. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care, guys. Have a good day.
Have a good day.